I'm recording this on the 16th of October 2019. This is the second video for today. Today I just did pocket pivots. Now I'm moving down to pivots. These scans actually came about after I read a book or did an online course from Udemy, and the author is Frank Bunn, and the book and the course is Stock Trading Ninja if you're interested. These courses go on sale for as little as $10 sometimes, so well worth reading. Okay, the market was very strong yesterday. It's kind of weak today. The NASDAQ composite's down about 30 points. So we remain in this very choppy market. Okay, let's take a look at this. Bullish pivots unconfirmed. What are bullish pivots unconfirmed? Well, they are low pivots based upon this filter I was able to put together. And I'll go up to the top of the list. This is the end of day. There are 370. By the way, the best fit stocks, or the stocks that best fit the combo rankings, are always near the top of the list, so I pay attention to those. I rarely go down to the bottom. There's no need to. So let me bring up a chart. I'll just go from the top stock here, and this is a stock that is in an uptrend. You can see that the fan is in place, and this stock generated a pivot lower than the prior day. Did it yesterday, and you can see that it's moving up today. Took out yesterday's high, which would be a buy point in this instance. The volume is actually not very good today, so it's kind of a weak buy, but it is taking out the high of the prior day, which is considered a buy point. Let's take a look at this other information. I'm in my intraday charts, chart number 1. Got a lot of things going for it as far as being positive on these histograms. But you have to look at everything, and if you look across here, you can see that it is going to run into resistance again. It's not a clear breakout. It has a way to go, but I'm just really looking at the pivots on this screen. Let's look at ITT, the next one. This would be the pivot from the prior day because it's lower than the pivot or the low of this candle, and it took out the high, but it's fallen back. This is a very loose chart. I tend to stay away from loose charts because they usually cost me money. So what I'm saying here is low pivot unconfirmed. This is a low pivot. It hasn't been confirmed, but it's confirmed the next day if it takes out the prior day's high. Let's see if I can find a better example here. Now this is Toro. Here's your low pivot. Here would be the buy point. This would be a profitable trade right now. This stock has been chopping around too, but I'm just concentrating on this area over here right now. And then I look at the rest of the chart, see which of the indicators are positive. And you can see that the 3 versus the 6 is positive. The VPOC, the volume point of control, is positive. These histograms are also positive, but it's a loose chart. Still, it's not terrible. Here, they really tried to beat it down, shook a lot of people out, and reversed it. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to use the end of day combo. I'm going to disengage it. I'm going down to the stocks intraday, and I can see which of these stocks, which met the criteria yesterday, are following through. And I can do that by looking at the intraday price change, the range, and so on. Dover Corp, let's go down here though to this one, Kirby Corp. It's up 1.13%. It's trading near the top of its range. Volume's a little bit light. It's marine shipping. Here is the pivot. Here would be the buy point. And you can see that it's trading near the top of the range. There was also a pocket pivot yesterday. This is just turning positive today. That would be the 3 versus the 6 crossover, which you can see right here. Now I'm going to re-engage the combo on the intraday, and now we can see which stocks, which also meant, or which did meet the criteria yesterday for the low pivot, are moving up, and these are moving up on volume, and it's at the top of its range. But this is a stock that's in a long-term downtrend. You can see that. There's stopping volume back here, pocket pivot. This is a negative pocket pivot yesterday, but the volume point of control is turning positive today. Let's look at one more here, and this is another stock that's in a downtrend. This bar represents an oversold condition. This candle shows that there was buying. This must be a relatively new issue because I'm not getting any VPA flags on it. We need 120 periods to get VPA flags, but you can see that buying was coming up in here, and then fairly strong buying today because volume is running above normal. It's near the top of its range. It's up 4.16%. So here's the buy point right there. Yesterday's high, which had the pivot. Now, if you want to eliminate looking at stocks that are in a downtrend, you just move down here to the number 2, the low pivot. These are unconfirmed. The fan is up on these. We already looked at that one and that one. Let's look at this one. Fan's up, but boy, it's choppy. It's kind of a choppy mess. Let's see if we can find something a little better. Let's take a look at Baxter here. Here is your unconfirmed pivot yesterday. This is a low volume test. Another low volume test today, but yesterday's high has not been taken out. So there's your pivot. This is going to be the new unconfirmed pivot if it doesn't take this out, or yesterday's high out. Then this would become the buy point tomorrow if there's another pivot established lower than this. If not, if it holds up, then that would remain the buy point. Let's see, how about PPG Industries? Okay, flag is up. Here's your low pivot. Here's your buy point. Now, if you want to look at these to see if these pivots worked in the past, go down to folder number 9 on the charts. Click on unconfirmed pivots. These are all unconfirmed pivots when they occurred, and the requirement is that the prior day's high be taken out. So this would have been a buy here, a great run on that. This would have been a buy, and that high was taken out, and that didn't last very long. That would have been a buy, a good trade for in the short period. This one was good for one day, and then it failed, and here we're on to another one. So you can look at the VFB charts folder number 9. I look at these enough. I usually just stick with this chart. This technique works pretty well. Okay, now let's. Okay, this is the intraday fan up. I'm going to make sure that my correct combo is applied, and these are stocks that are doing well. Now I'm going to move on down. These are low pivots, unconfirmed stocks near the 18-day exponential moving average. I just put this in because Paul Reiche requested something similar to this in conjunction with an effort to rise, and let's see, this one had an effort to rise 3 days ago. Right here. Here's your 18. No, I'm sorry, it's right up here. And these are coming off the 18, especially with a effort to rise VPA flag, is generally a pretty good signal. So it's just another option. Now here's intraday near the 18. Let's take a look at Warner Enterprise. There's two trucking stocks back to back here. Warner is looking very good. Here's the 18 here. Here is your pivot. Here's the buy point, and Warner is on the way. I'm going to change this to a monthly chart by going with alternate M. And it is not out to an all-time high, but let's take a look at the weekly chart. Alternate W. Got some resistance coming up here, but it meets the criteria for, let's go back to daily, for the pivot and buying beyond the pivot. Here is an effort to rise back here. Okay, there's a lot to talk about in this video. I'm going to go through these. These are bullish pivots confirmed. What do I mean by confirmed? It means that they were confirmed the prior day. So here was the pivot. It was confirmed here. And this is a stock I've been in and out of. I missed the trade this time, but it was confirmed yesterday, and you can see that it's going today. How about Deere & Company? Here was the low pivot. It was confirmed yesterday, and it looks like it wants to go higher. Okay, now these are intraday. Same filter. Here's a stock that, here was the low pivot. The filter didn't work quite right on this one. It didn't take out the high, but it was close. There's stopping volume. It's certainly confirmed today. I did the best with these filters. I don't have the exact code built into HGSI, so I have to work with filters, and I've done a pretty good job, if I don't say so myself. So here is your from the prior day. Here it was confirmed yesterday, and there is follow through today on General Motors, because supposedly that strike is nearing a resolution. Okay, so here it was confirmed yesterday. There's your buy point, and this is a follow through on Actori International Group. Okay, same thing, fan up, intraday fan up. I'm not going to look at these charts. And these are just some bearish. It's just the opposite. There's a high pivot, and if they trade down through the low of the day, that would be confirmed. I'm not going to spend any time on this. I really don't look at this much, because generally I'm not shorting individual stocks. But if these lows are taken out, then that would be a continuation of the short. Let's look at workday. This is a good example. See, the trend is down here. Here's your high pivot. Confirmation would have been below right here, and you can see that it gapped down. So if you want to chase this, you would have a nice trade. Let's look at one more. Wow. Okay, so the pivot would be below this. This is a tough one to read because of the excessive candles. Let's take a look at ZAG. Okay, here's your high pivot here. So taking out the prior day's low, ZAG would be short right now. That's it on this. I don't want this video to get any longer, but there's a lot to work with here, and these pivots are really interesting. You can find stocks that are coming off of long runs to the downside, or you can limit your scans to stocks whose fans are in an uptrend, which I generally would recommend because you want stocks moving in the correct direction. You want to see them pulling back a little bit, and then you want to buy them.